Hi there. Been a while. Sorry about that. 2024 has certainly been a year for me. Um, but I started a series on a $20 Goodwill PC that I bought in December of 2023, and I'm really sorry if you were invested in that and wanted to see the next steps. Things got busy. Things got a little bit frustrating with the PC build. It's all good now. Spoiler. But I wanted to do a summary video, finally. A lot of the working videos that I did, as far as, earlier on, I filmed putting in the RAM, putting in the SSDs, and all that. I didn't film a lot of the last steps of it because I was kind of burnt out because the last steps went poorly, but it did work out in the end. So I'm just going to give you an update, a total cost of what this cost me, how it's doing, and some pictures of what it looks like. So a summary of all of the $20 Goodwill PC build, and I'm literally gonna do a PowerPoint. Why not? Okay, so of course, if you watch the first video, the PC itself was a $20 PC. Bought it at Goodwill. I've not seen a PC at Goodwill since. They sell a lot of monitors, but I still have not seen a PC there, and I'm usually there like at least twice a month. It's a Dell Optiplex 990 from 2012, so it is not modern by any stretch of the imagination. I did not expect it to be a modern gaming PC. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with it at the start, but the issue that I had that made me really want to have a PC, or a desktop at least, is I was speedrunning Red Faction Armageddon, which is a game from 2011, and I was not able to play it and stream it or record it at the same time using my laptop. It is not super graphically intensive compared to like modern day games like Elden Ring or something, but it was too much for my laptop. So I got this PC thinking, hey, maybe I'll be able to make it play games from 2011. And that was my goal with this, was to make a PC capable of playing Red Faction Armageddon, a game from 2011, in pretty quality. And if you've seen the graphic card, the GPU installation video, I succeeded. It runs Red Faction Armageddon at about 30 to 40 FPS in pretty mode. So it has an Intel Core i7-2600K. That is the processor that was in it. It was one of the best processors available in 2012 for the Intel lineup, at least. It is nothing compared to modern day processors. It had 8 gigs of DDR3 Micron RAM. So it ran pretty well when I first got it, as far as, if you wanted to do office stuff on it, PowerPoint, Word, whatever, web browsing. I don't remember if I tried to stream video from like YouTube or something. It worked okay, and it had a 500 gig Seagate HDD in it. But that's what it came with. It was $20, as it says at the top. The first upgrade I did, and this was filmed, it's in the series, is storage. I swapped the 500 gig Seagate HDD in there for a 2 terabyte Samsung SSD that I had already had, so I don't count that as a cost. It was from my PlayStation 4, and I have a PlayStation 5 now. So before I sold my PlayStation 4, I swapped back in the old hard drive that was in. I had that laying around, and it works perfectly. I was looking around on eBay, as I do sometimes, and I saw another of the exact same model Samsung SSD, 2 terabytes, on sale for $80 on an auction style sale. And I thought, oh, that sounds like a good deal. Let me see how much they are new. And new they're 160, so it was 50% off. So I put in a bid thinking, oh, there's no way it's going to go for that. And it went for that. And that's okay. I got 4 terabytes of storage. That's good to have. So that $80 that I spent on the Samsung SSD puts it up to $100 total dollars so far. I'm going to keep a running total, and then you'll eventually see how much I spent in total. I just found that out today, actually, how much I spent. Second upgrade, I also did a video of this. As I said, it came with 8 gigs of Micron DDR3 RAM, 2 4 gigabyte sticks. So at first I added 2 8 gigabyte DDR3 1600 speed Crucial RAM. Crucial is a kind of a budget manufacturer of SSDs and RAM. I don't think they make regular hard drives, but they do make M.2 SSDs also. So I got that because it was a budget thing, and it was half price of what I was thinking about buying, which was Corsair Vengeance RAM, which would not have been would not have been worth it to spend twice as much. The only difference was heat sinks. It had the same RAM speed. So the first set was $37. That got me up to 24 total gigs of RAM. And then I was looking around on Amazon, as you do, and I found that Amazon was selling the same Crucial RAM that I had just bought new for used at a pretty big discount. I got 2 more sticks of 8 gig each for $24, so $12 each. It's $13 off. I can do quick math like that. So that brings our total up to $161. Got 32 gigs of RAM. That's a good amount of RAM, especially for how old the computer is. So I have no problem with that. But if you watch the video where I had installed all this RAM, I had thought, well, maybe it'll make Red Faction 1 run a little bit better, because Red Faction 1 is a game from 2001. And for certain speedrun things, not speedrun categories that I run actually, but certain speedrun things are FPS dependent. So it is best to be able to get to that 240 ceiling as reliably as possible. So I ran a graphically intensive level of a mod of Red Faction 1 created by Goober called Kava. It's a level where you're flying around in a flying vehicle called an Aesir, and you have to shoot down all these towers and such, and there's a lot going on. So before I did anything, I think it was like 30 FPS down to 220 FPS sometimes. And after I put in the RAM, it was pretty much the same. It might have been a tiny bit better, but what you really need if you want to do a gaming computer and you want to increase your FPS, you need a GPU. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So it runs really well at this point once I got the RAM in, once I got the storage in, but it couldn't game any better than it used to. Total is up to $161. So my third upgrade was the power supply. It came with, I think it was 265 watts. It says sub 300 there. Was the original power supply in it. I knew that was probably not going to be enough. And once I've rebuilt the computer on PC Part Picker, and it says that it uses around 350, I think, watts. So that would not have been enough to run everything that's in there. So it's good that I upgraded. I got a MSI Mag A65 GL PSU from Amazon for $80. It's 650 watts. Not a lot, like if you're building a modern gaming PC, but it works perfect for what I have. It was, I could have gone with 500, but they didn't have a 500 option. This was the cheapest. That was still 80 plus rated. So that was $80 from Amazon again. bringing our total up to $241. It's not a sexy upgrade, but it was necessary. You need a power supply unit to give your GPU all the juice that it needs. So the GPU. This is the final video that I did, and that video I think was really good. Well, for me at least, and it was really, what's the word? It validated everything, all the work that I'd done on this computer, because I got the results that I wanted. So the GPU is an MSI GeForce GTX 1650 D6 Ventus XS OCV3, 4 gigabytes of VRAM. They use all those numbers, and some of them means something, I'm sure, but the 4 gigs is what I wanted. Talking about it and realizing it and running it, since I put it in, I really could have gone with a low-profile one. The guys in the comments, you are absolutely correct. The CPU bottlenecks this GPU so much, it never spools up the fans. It never gets hot. It never really works. I've run Portal 2, I think, is the most modern game I've played using the GPU, and it runs at 30. Some people, it has to be 60. For me, 30 is fine. FPS, that is. This graphics card was $140. I got it, the nicer one, because it looked pretty, as my video said, but it was also only $30 more than the low-profile one. But I could have saved $30. In the long scheme of things, that would have been nice. But that brings our total up to $381, which we're kind of getting at the point where you could maybe get an entry-level PC, probably a laptop, for $381, but nothing that could have run games the way that my machine runs games now. But I'm happy with this card. It's just, it's a little bit much for the CPU that is bottlenecking it. Upgrade 5, I did not film this. I added an optical drive. I had talked about this, and I swapped the DVD-RW drive that was in it, that Windows refused to recognize as a DVD-RW drive. It thought it was only a CD drive. I still don't know what was going on there. But I put in an LG Blu-ray drive. I don't know the part number or whatever, but that's what it looks like on the right there. It was $55. I've not used it yet, but it's just a good thing to have. If I talked to some people, and it's always nice to be able to create large amounts of storage. I don't know how big Blu-ray discs can hold. I've never tried to write to a Blu-ray disc, but it's nice to have. I did get it running so I can play videos on there. Just because you buy a Blu-ray drive does not mean that you bought a Blu-ray player, I learned. So you have to buy some kind, or not buy, but get some kind of software that will run the movie part of a Blu-ray on a PC. I did that. I think it's called Levo. Excuse me. Leavoo is the Blu-ray player I found. It works okay. I've not watched Blu-rays on it because I don't need to, because I have my PlayStation 5 connected to the same television, and I have a Blu-ray player in my bedroom and too. But that was $55 from Amazon, bringing our total up to $436. Upgrade 6. This is where it got frustrating. Oh boy. And you see there's a lot of stuff there. Cooling. Okay, so I added 3 iceberg thermal, forget what the model's called, but 80 millimeter fans from Amazon. It only had 1 fan in it to begin with, and I think a lot of PCs from that time period did. It was only 1 exhaust fan. I added 3 these 80 millimeter fans. 1 intakes air from the front of the case, which is a grill, so I didn't have, well, I'll talk about that in a bit. But 1 intakes air from the bottom of the case, and finally the 3rd exhausts air from the top of the case. So how did I do that? I drilled holes in the case, and they turned out really, really ugly. It was jagged metal all over the place. I think I got a metal splinter in my thumb that I had to go to the doctor for. I did it very poorly. If you are going to drill into a PC case, spend a lot of time thinking, how is the best way to do this? Because I didn't, apparently. Best way, of course, is if you have a, excuse me, my axle. There we go, that's better. Is if you have a hole saw that will go through sheet metal. I don't. So I used a regular drill bit, tungsten carbide, I think. A special type. I had already had wooden, drill bits for wood, but I bought some that would go through metal, and I'm not counting them to the cost because I've used them since for other stuff. So that was $21. Those fans were only $7 each. I had really thought about doing Noctuas. The other brands are Arctic, I think, also is one. But if they go bad, they go bad. I really went overkill with this cooling. They've never spooled up all 4 fans that are in there. But I wanted to do this, make sure it never got thermally throttled. I swapped the existing exhaust fan, which is a special size for Dell likes making things difficult. It's a 90 millimeter fan. A lot of manufacturers make 92 millimeter fans and 80 millimeter fans and 120. Very few make 90. So I was kind of stuck getting what I could get. And I got that, what's in the bottom right-hand corner. It's B Gear's 90 millimeter fan. And it is loud, but it will suck in a lot of air. I turned it to an intake fan rather than an exhaust fan. And it'll take in a lot of air if it needs it. Never has. So that was another $13 from Amazon. I added an Arctic fan controller hub because you need a fan controller hub, especially for an older computer like this. It doesn't have enough plugs to be able to control the fans and control how fast they spin and all of that. So I added one of those. That was $10 from Walmart. I've shopped different places. Most of the time, Amazon's the cheapest. Sometimes it's. So that worked well. It has magnets on the back, so I think it's stuck to the side of the case on the inside. The fan controller it is, and because I made such a mess drilling holes into the PC case, I added what is behind that iceberg fan. They are fan covers / grills, and they cover up those ugly holes, and you can't see that there's jagged metal all over the place around the holes. It looks really good, actually, and if you can see, it does have that membrane filter. So the ones that are intaking air won't blow as much dust in because it has filters there, and it does cover it up. And it wasn't expensive. That was only $9 from Amazon. And then, to start all this, the fan plug on the motherboard, for most motherboards, it's 4 pins. Dell likes to be difficult and make things proprietary, And so theirs is 5 pins. And you know what makes it even more stupid? The 5th pin's a dummy. There's no contact in it. So I had to get a fan adapter to go from 5 to 4, and then from 4 into the fan controller hub. But that was only $7 from Amazon, and it's actually really nice. It's got a braided cover around it. It's really well made. To put all these fans in, I got rubber mounting screws. They're not screws, but they stretch out and they fit really nice, and they minimize any rattle that would possibly happen if I used metal screws. They were $6 from Amazon, and I also bought Arctic MX6 thermal compound, and I bought that not for any of those fans. They don't take thermal compound, but for the CPU cooler. At some point, I'm pretty sure that I did film this. I took off the CPU cooler, scraped off the old thermal compound, put more of this MX6 thermal compound down, and then resecured the CPU. Because from 2012, it's been 12 years, that thermal compound was pretty dry. But all those, small expenditures added up, and now we're up to $509 total dollars. Okay, peripherals. Especially if you're going to game, you want something that's nice. And for a mouse, I really like having the side buttons on the thumb. So I got a Logitech M510 that has those two side buttons and of course all the regular buttons. And it's programmable to what you want to make those side buttons do. So I use it for save load in Red Faction 1. I can make them do different things. It takes two AA's, so it's kind of heavy, but it works pretty nice. I don't like it as much as my Logitech wired mouse that I have for my laptop, but it works. And having these wireless has been really nice because I don't have a desk set up for this, so I just have my mouse and keyboard off to the side. It's been nice having them wireless. And I bought an MPET K32 keyboard. That's because I have an MPET keyboard that's wired for my laptop, and I really like it. I love the action on these things. I don't know how they make them so cheap. I'm not sure I want to know. But they're very nice, and that was $20 from Amazon. It has RGB. I don't need the RGB, but it was the cheapest version that was wireless. And that brings our total up to $554. I've gamed on this keyboard. I've gamed on this mouse. Recently, towards the end of summer, I think, going into September, I played through the entire Doom series. And many of those games were on this PC, and it looked like a champ. I played Doom 1993, the original, Doom 2 on this computer. I think I played Doom 64 on this computer. And then I played Doom 3 on my PlayStation 5 and Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal on my PlayStation. So, yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I spent hours playing through the Dooms on this keyboard, and it really works well. I really like it. So total's up to $554, and yeah, we're really getting kind of high compared to, like, I could have just bought something complete. Miscellaneous. I bought a DisplayPort to HDMI adapter because when I first got it, before I put the graphics card in, it had a VGA. I'm not sure if it had DVI, but it had a VGA, maybe a DVI, and a DisplayPort outlet for video. And I don't have any DisplayPort cords, but I got tons of HDMI cords, so I bought that adapter. I don't use it anymore because the GPU has a HDMI output. But that was $6 from Amazon. For Wi-Fi, and it also works for Bluetooth. I don't recall that I've ever used Bluetooth on this yet. It's just one of the dongles, very thin thing that you just stick in from TP-Link, and it was $18 from Amazon. I think it does Wi-Fi 5. It's not super modern for the Wi-Fi 6, or I've heard Wi-Fi 7's a thing now. But it works. But I have it plugged into the Ethernet most of the time anyway. And then to increase the data transfer speed, I bought a USB 3.0 4 outlets or 4 plugs on the card for PCIe card. It's $20 from Amazon, and that's actually the one on the right there. And it works really well. I had USB 2.0 on the thing, but for transferring files, for using the Wi-Fi adapter, right now the capture from the laptop that has the PowerPoint going is running through it. It's just nicer to have USB 3.0. Up to $598. We're almost done now. Okay, miscellaneous continued. I bought a Windows 10 Pro product key. I refused to spend however much it is. I think it's like $130 for a Windows 10 home key to buy it from Windows. So I found a key seller called productkeys.com, and everything was on the up and up with it. I've had no problems with it saying, oh, this is not a legitimate copy or whatever. It works. I got Pro. I think it was because it was cheaper than Home. I didn't buy it for any other reason than that. So yeah, I do have an official Windows installation, so I can have my own wallpapers. As until you get your own official, you're stuck with whatever they give you. I bought rubber feet to put on the bottom to raise it up a little bit, especially because I have that fan taking air in from the bottom. They were $10, kind of expensive, but they work nice. They're not super stuck on it. I could peel them off pretty easily, but they're there and they raise it up a bit. An inch and a half is how big they are. Excuse me. And then the cart / stand that's on. It's got those casters on the bottom, 4 casters, and it expands so you can have a bigger case. It's as small as it gets, but get the idea. It puts it in a place where it's not on the carpet, basically, and that's good. You're not supposed to put PCs on the carpet because of statics, electricity, and it's just not the best situation. So it's been sitting right here next to my TV stand in my living room since I built it, and it's been working well. Like I said, I played through the Doom series on it, all the ones that I played on PC. I played Portal 2 a little bit on it, played Red Faction a little bit on it, and it does everything that I wanted it to do. But it brings our total to $636. And here are some pictures of it. The first picture on the left, the front facing, of course. I put the Blu-ray drive in the bottom bay because it was not matching up totally, so there was daylight showing with the dummy cover thing there. So I had to put it on the bottom. It's fine. It works. That you see there. The middle picture shows that's an exhaust fan coming out the top. Heat rises, so I thought I just would help it along. That's one of the 80mm fans behind that cover. You see the cover looks pretty nice. And I put an Alkaline Trio sticker on there. I didn't add that to the cost. Because the sticker that was on there about the previous Windows installation just refused to come off all the way. I put Goo Gone on it like 3-4 times. It just wouldn't come up all the way. So put my own sticker down. And then you see the back. All the way at the bottom is the USB 3.0 card. The black plug towards the bottom that's where the GPU is. That's an HDMI cord. At the top is the PlayStation power supply. MSI power supply, and you see it's got Ethernet plugged in. And there's one more picture. This is the bottom, so you see the rubber feet on the 4 corners and an intake fan on the bottom. You can kind of still see, but it doesn't matter as much because it's on the bottom, so I don't have it upside down all the time, but you can kind of still see the rough edges of where I drilled into the case to create these holes to put these fans in. But the cover cleans it up pretty well. Would I do it again? Probably not. Because I looked today and I was thinking, well, could you get a gaming PC that's more modern, that could run everything I want to run on it, for about the same price or less? Apparently you can. What is the name of it? The Victus by HP. They're currently selling a desktop called the HP Victus as an i5 13400, 8 gigs of RAM, but it's DDR4, so it would be faster. So it would probably, be about the same speed as far as RAM. 1 terabyte of SSD, and an Intel. I forget what they're called. That Intel makes their own graphics cards, and it has one of those. Arc. Intel Arc, 6 gigs of VRAM, $610. I spent $26 more with a PC from 2012. I could have just bought that. And the reason why I spent all this money is it's kind of like the Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time, except I was paying for every piece. So as I got one piece, $10, oh yeah, that's no big deal. $20, oh okay, $140 for the graphics card, and in my head, I was not adding it up as I went along. $636, that is kind of a lot for what it ended up being. Like I said, that HP Victus, it's on sale, I think from 800 something, but usually you'll be able to find some brand that is having a sale that would bring prices down to about the same. $610 for something that would be but that's okay. It was a lot of fun 90% of the time. Not when I was drilling holes in the case and putting metal splinters into my thumb. And when it had holes in it and all those rough edges, I got kind of depressed for a second there, and I was like, am I even gonna finish this? It was in the back of my head. But thankfully, the idea of putting those covers on worked, or came to my head, and it works pretty nice. It was the first PC build I've ever done. I have installed RAM and storage on laptops in the past. I've never built a PC to this degree before. The motherboard is, of course, the same. The processor is the same. But pretty much everything else is different in it now. And it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of education. I know what not to do. It's a thing where, how did I write it? I wouldn't change the experience, but if I could go back and just buy a modern PC for $610 instead of $636, I think I would have. I think I should have, but that's okay. So that is the Goodwill PC build. I'll show you the other pictures. And what gave me the motivation to finally finish this video series? I've been thinking about it and kind of honestly feeling guilty, because I know I don't really care about the view count, except that the first video in the series went crazy for my channel, at least, and got like several thousand views, like 2,000 something, I think. But I saw a good amount of people watching these videos, and I'm like, oh man, I just kind of left you on a cliffhanger, and I'm sorry about that. It's been a rough year. I won't say why, but I got the motivation to finally put a pin in this because I possibly have another project coming, another computer coming tomorrow. So if it comes and if it works, it is coming from Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic. So if it comes and if it works, I will film, or I'm planning to at least film content on that, because it'll be it's a different era, for one, and it's a new challenges, and there is a specific goal in mind. Just like I had the specific goal to play Red Faction Armageddon on this PC, I have a specific goal for a specific game for this computer that's coming. And I hope that it comes and works, and I hope everything goes well with it, and I hope that I'm able to play the game that I want to, reach that goal. But I'm planning on bringing you guys along with it. It should be fun. Another challenge, and well, hopefully you'll see it soon. If you don't, hopefully it means that it broke something in the transit, and not that I really want to make these videos. So I'm saying I hope that I have the motivation to do them, because I think it's going to be a fun thing to check out for myself and maybe for some of you guys. So thank you for watching. As I said, keep an eye out. Hopefully another project will be coming. I will post if it comes broken, or something bad happens, that it's not going to end up being a project. But like I said, it'll be interesting. It'll be fun, and I'm hoping to bring you guys along with it. Thank you.